That's exactly. That's how we're starting today. Hey guys, it's Jacob Crotty here with Medicare Gurus doing our daily dojo, and we are kind of wrapping up what we did on Friday, which Christine, you weren't in here for this one, but basically what we did is we went paragraph by paragraph and put in what is your goal? What do you want out of this? Why are we asking? Basically, we're getting to the reason why we do things. And it's, or we can do a quick run through later too. We can do whatever. But welcome back. How was everybody's weekend?
Good.
Name one fun thing you did. We'll start with Christine. Name one fun thing.
We'll still start with Christine.
Okay, Benny.
Well, I watched a cool show on Netflix that I really liked.
What's it called?
The Sandman.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very cool.
Okay.
Not all the way through it yet, but it was fun.
Kim, what about you?
I took one of my grandsons to see Top Gun. That's
Oh,
what
wow.
I did. Yeah.
That's more fun probably than watching
That
something on
is.
Netflix.
I tell you what's going on in our house real quick, and it's really weird. For the last 2 weeks in a row, we've been watching UFC fights, and she would never watch them with me, but she finally watched them. She was like, "Okay, this is kind of entertaining." She was just like, "I don't like the blood and stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, you can turn around." You know, not every fight is like that.
Right.
But so like starting Saturday morning at like 7:30 when we woke up, she's like, "So what time are the fights on tonight?" I'm like, who are you? Yeah. What have you done? Who are you? Okay, so
I took my dog to the dog park.
Oh, there
Which-
you go.
He was like crazy, stupid excited. So that's fun. The only
that is
only child of mine that actually still gets excited. For me to get out.
Take him to the park.
You say the word park, and you're like, don't say it unless you mean it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Anyway.
all right, so I think Penny and Kim, you're on there. Christine, if you can turn to, these aren't numbered, but it's kind of towards the back. You'll see after the A and B presentation where it'll say 13 and then company C as in cap.
On the supplement path?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So, as a little refresher, this is now, we kind of skipped over the part A and part B presentation just because we know the goal of that is to educate the client.
Right.
You know, that one is copy and paste. You just read what's on the page. There's no diversion.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of flair to it. Okay. That one's super easy to go. The goal, educate the client. That is the P for product and cap. So this next one we're going to, the C and C for company here. If you guys look at this, you know, where it says, now let me tell you a little bit about insurance companies so you'll know why I recommend them. You know, if they're one of the top companies, we recommend companies based on situations. You know, for instance, when you get set up with Medicare, financially sound, you know, everything like that. What is the goal in company for CAP? What goal do we have by stating how we know the company reacts, how the rate increases, household discounts, without ever revealing price yet? What is that goal?
Well, I think that the goal is not only to explain that we're thorough and that we're looking at all the details, is I think a lot of people are not aware, haven't even thought of all those questions and are like, oh yeah, thank goodness these people are looking. I mean, I think it just gives us more credibility, but also educates them on what they should be thinking about before they get a supplement.
Now, Kim, what is the goal? Why are we talking about the company here?
I would kind of go along those lines of giving credibility to the company and again, making us sound like we are the professionals and we know what we're talking about. And that you can be rest assured this company's not going anywhere. Most have been around since 1902 or whatever the case may be. So,
Right.
because there's some supplement companies that are very reputable, people have never heard of. So it's important to let them know that I know all about them and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay,
That's what I say.
Christine.
Well, this is after we've already asked them about their medical histories
Correct.
and things. So we're supposed to know, which I probably don't yet, but we're supposed to know which one's underwriting are gonna accept them because of their medical histories and things, and so I wouldn't want to say, hey, let's do Aetna, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait, no, we can't do that because, oh crap, I forgot you have a respiratory thing, you have this, and, oh wait, now we need to do United Healthcare because I forgot, so.
We'll use it in the realm of T65 here, so no underwriting,
I mean,
where
I'm
you get
not-
the cream of the crop.
Okay, well. I don't know. I don't really know what you're asking. I mean,
Okay.
it's
It's
other
okay.
than the price, other than, if it's T65 and we don't have to worry about their medical history. I mean, if it was me buying a policy, I would just want to go with the cheapest one because they're all the same.
Mhm.
Honest, I mean, that was me buying something.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really know what you're asking.
You'll pick up, it's okay, you'll pick up on it as we go here. So, remember, we did cap on the very first page. That's after what zip code is, what's your birthday. So from the very beginning, we're already doing company, agent, policy, and price.
Right.
So for here, when we're talking about company, the reason that it's kind of like this, and you guys probably hear me do it a lot too, where it's like, okay, well, before I recommend something, let me tell you about the company. Say we'll use Medico. Medico is one of those, I think it's 1902, since they've been around.
Mhm.
What I do, my goal in here is to say, look, I can represent everybody on this screen. They all want me, okay? That doesn't mean I want to use everybody. I want to use a select few. Now, this is saying out of all the companies out there, this is what you're going to recommend. This is when we talked about control on Friday, controlling the conversation. You are in control of this situation to where we're not going, okay, let me just start from the bottom or start from the top and go down. And let me just look at premium. Okay, that one's high, that one's lower. Okay, this one has a discount. We're not doing any of that. There is going to be one company that will work for you, and it's my job to find it. But once I do find it, that's it. That's the option. So really with the C in company, reiterating who the company is, I use a lot of examples when I call people. When I call in, are they nice to me? Do they speak English? Is it hard getting a hold of somebody? Can they resolve something very quickly? Are they good to work with you? I've even done it before to where they're like, well, I don't know about this company, or, well, I've never heard of them before. And I go, okay, let's call them. Let's call them real quick. Let's get to customer service. Let's see how fast we can do it here. So if you have this issue, this is what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Let's do it together here. And a lot of times they pick up in like a minute and a half. I've been lucky. I haven't struck out.
I was
doing
gonna
that
say,
Have
that
not-
backfires.
yet. Have not. I don't do it during AEP, but
Oh, yeah.
have not struck out doing it yet. But it's something there. So really the C in company, it is, look, I've done my research. I am in control here. This is the best fit for you, where you don't have to go price shopping. Like, think about if you have to get tires. Do you guys know a lot about tires?
Yes.
Yeah, I know when they're bald.
I just asked my son and he does it for me,
Okay. But here's the thing. If
So,
you,
no.
which would be us for them.
If you go into- if you go into,
Price difference.
exactly, if you go into Discount Tire right now and say, we'll take my truck here, it's F-150. Say I need 4 new tires.
It could be $1,000,
And
it
they
could be $3,000.
Could be 400, whatever it is. They don't hand me the list with all the prices in every company and go, here you go,
Mhm.
because I'm not the expert.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what that company is for, because you are controlling the narrative of the story and the narrative of this direction. I don't go into Discount Tire and say, okay, give me all the pricing you have for every tire that is fit for this
Right.
size. I want to take it home, do my individual research. No, I go to Discount Tire and they're like, okay, what level, would you like the extreme level or just some cheapies to get by? And go,
Right.
put me something in the middle. And they'll go, okay, here's your Michelin tires. I say,
Mhm.
great. Or I don't even know what some of the other tire brands are.
Right.
I don't know,
Mhm.
Right.
but they're the
They
expert.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
They do, and it's their recommendation. And guess what? By going there, you trust them. What they recommend is going to work.
Mhm.
It's because they have control in the situation and they do this right here. They say Michelin's a great tire, name brand, here you go.
Yeah.
So that is really the goal in company. It's not only to tell them this is who you're going to be with, but it's having the control to say, look, this is what we're going to do.
Mm.
Here's the company. It's not, I think you're going to like this,
Mhm.
or
Right.
they're really nice to you. Because at the end of the day, you know, when we tell people too, we're not married to the company, we're married to you. So if in a year they want to switch, guess what? They're going to get a new card with a new company name that they don't give a damn about, that they don't
Yeah.
care, just as long as it says Plan G on it.
Right.
Mhm.
So creating, that's why if you notice, company is such a small thing in the entire presentation.
Mhm.
This is the only 3 paragraphs that there is about company. It's because it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It does not matter. You can't tell me that a Blue Cross Blue Shield policy is better than a Cigna policy, Plan G wise. You can't, because there's no difference.
Right.
So at this point here, you've already said it twice in the presentation. You said it in your prepared statement. There's no reason to really justify and go into immense depth on the company, because by this point they already know it's the same.
Mhm.
The only difference is how much they charge me.
Mhm.
So that's why that people get a little hesitant about doing that and kind of overloading once you have a company. Like take like Medico, who's super competitive right now. Say, okay, so I'm looking at Medico here, and they go, Medico, who's Medico? And I go, they've been around since 1902. They're a really good company. They got a great household discount. But instead, people kind of freak out and they're like, who's Medico? And they're like, let me look them up real quick. Okay, so they're based out of Iowa. They've been there since 1902. Their former business name was this. Like, this is their CFO's name. This is their vice president's name. It's like people don't care.
Right.
They just want to make sure that you are confident in it.
Well, the lady, that one that I wrote, that you helped me with,
Mhm.
she was like that, I've never heard of them, and you, exactly the same thing. You were like, that blah, 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 she's like, okay.
Yeah,
I tell people Medicare wouldn't even do business with these companies if they didn't have the money to pay their bills. They don't, you know,
Right.
they research them, and if Medicare says they're good, they're good.
and if you notice too that and she was kind of freaking out because we still had to do her drug plan. Oh, and I've been taking care of her this week too for you.
Which, did she call back?
Oh,
again?
multiple times. Multiple times.
About her diabetes stuff?
Yes.
Oh,
So.
I was on the phone with her at the beginning of last week again too.
But people have that, like, well, I've never heard of them before.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
That's like one of them.
That is fine. Or if you can, because you can really get into the depths here. This is where you can lose a sale very quickly because you just start to just throw out words.
Yeah.
You start to
Right.
just start
Too
spitting
much.
out
Right.
facts that they don't care about.
Mhm.
Because just like there is a new carrier here that's operating pretty much everywhere, Prosperity Life. Okay.
Mm.
They're the lowest Plan G out there. Have they ever done Plan G before? No. They have never offered. So it scares me when somebody new comes in and say it's $95 and Medico's $100, and I've written years worth of Medico and I know how they operate.
Mhm.
This new person who's never done it before just immediately drops a price and says, we're going to be great. You don't know that. They haven't even been doing it for a year yet. But a lot of people, and that what comes up next to here with price, with a lot of people, they just go look off price.
Mhm.
And I'll tell people that do you really want the lowest thing out there, or do you want the best thing for you? Because the lowest thing out there might be $100, but that next level where we know how they operate, we know their level of care, it's going to be 105. For that $60 difference a year, there's a whole lot of comfortability in
Right.
it.
So I have a question, kind of off track a little bit.
Okay.
But what happens if a company does go bankrupt and all of a sudden they can't pay their
You get a
20%?
GI to another plan.
Oh, okay, so
It's-
they're not responsible
Yeah.
all of a sudden for
No,
that
you have
20%.
63 days. So what happens
Oh,
is the
okay.
company becomes insolvent,
Yeah,
and what that means is that gives you a GI right to your same plan
okay.
with any other carrier.
Oh, okay. Good
So
to
if
know.
you notice on some of the replacement ones, it'll say like loss of coverage due to bankruptcy, things like that.
Mhm.
Where haven't ran into it before,
Yeah,
but
Right.
it's definitely
Yeah.
something there. Okay, so that's it for company. I don't want to spend too much time on it.
right.
All right, everyone's favorite next. Revealing price. So as you can kind of see in here, revealing price is maybe 3 sentences. right? Because you come in, because you've already built up all this benefit as to why this plan is great. If you notice, the only thing you talked about in this entire presentation is a Plan G supplement.
Mhm.
That is why company is 3 paragraphs and price reveal is 3 sentences.
Mhm.
Because you've built up that value of the plan itself to where you don't have to go in the rabbit hole. Well, this is why you should do it. It's because of the price. It's because of, no, they're already buying right here.
Mhm.
So you can see it says recap what they have or have been looking at, establish the value, and reveal the price. And sometimes if we're talking about saving money, there is a little trick to do it annually. Do an annual savings instead of a monthly savings. Sometimes monthly, if it's like $40, people are like, that sounds pretty good, versus 400, and they go, It just depends. But revealing the price, what is the goal here? We'll start with Penny. Why is it so short?
Well, because by the time you have already established the value and the company and all of that, then that should be like, oh yeah, that's fine. The price that's probably, you've already found them one of the lowest prices available to them and explained all of the reasons why you're picking this company over another or whatever.
Mhm.
So then that should be the least of their concerns at that point. It's like, oh, yeah, 100 or 105 or whatever it is.
Think about it either.
Right.
Well, we'll build off of that. Kim, what do you think the goal is here?
Well, I think at that point, it's a done deal and you should just assume the sale.
Mhm.
So your price is just going to be $101.79. And how would you like to pay for that?
Exactly. So it kind of hints to what's next in the script there, but really the goal for revealing price is just to recap that you're putting them in a better position than they were. It's a quick recap saying, hey, look, you were paying $200 with your group insurance. Here it's $100 and $200 deductible, and that's going to be $100 a month. And if you notice, it's not, or that line, now what we're going to do is get you a Medicare supplement Plan G with Medico for $100. There's no, does that sound good?
Right.
Is that okay?
What we're
Is
going to do.
None of that. Because,
Right.
exactly, what we're going to do is get you this. This is your control that's leading into the next one, which I have been hammering on here on the floor here recently, because this is one of the most
Killing us.
this is
Finally,
this is one of the most powerful tools that you can do.
Okay.
Because at this point here, this is like drugs, right? These people are itching. They want it. They want it to get over with. They want to do it all. They say, you know what? Let's do it. I just want to do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I've been on
Guess
the phone
what?
an hour.
Number 15, favorite one. Take it away from them. Now, when you guys first came in here and you started hearing us do it, you're probably like, these people are psychotic. They've said, like, give me your Medicare card, and I say no. Here, this is what I want. No, we're not going to do that yet. I don't know what you might think you want a United Healthcare Plan G, but it might not be the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So people call in, hey, I want a Plan G with United. Cool. I'm not taking that bait.
I wish. I would.
See,
No.
Those phone calls are the ones that I turn into. That should be anybody else out there, a 10-minute conversation where you just do the
Yeah.
app and submit it. That's
Yeah.
that's at least an hour and a half call,
Yeah.
at least.
They still don't know for sure.
But, so the recommendation and the takeaway. This is for everything. Open enrollment. If we're underwriting for a lower premium, if we're doing you can even throw in dental policy too. Final expense, definitely. But anything where you have to ask health questions,
Mm-hmm.
that is such a crutch that you need to realize what you have. Because all of the other, I'll say 45 pages in here, whatever it is, this is all fairy dust. That's not real life. We get to the point to where now is, look, no, this is where rubber meets the road. you are either going to qualify or I have to go back a few steps and take a look and see. So that's why it's so important, even for open enrollments too. Ask those questions. But in here, I won't give out everything, but like I said last time, you got to work here to actually see everything, which we are hiring. Hit us up. But it says, do this immediately. Do not let them think about the price that you get. Why do we think it says that? What's the goal of it saying that? Do this immediately. Do not let them think about the price you gave.
Well, you don't want them to overthink anything. We've already gone over everything. We've gone over everything with a fine-tooth comb about how Medicare works and all of that. So now it's just, this is
Let's
what
get
we're
it done.
doing, and
Right.
and there's no more lollygagging.
Christine, what about you? Why do you think we say that immediately and don't let them think about the price?
Because they'll sit there and be like, oh, I don't know, can I get it cheaper somewhere else? I'm not sure. If we just be like, no, this is it, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Let's just get this done.
Okay. It's not really, yes, it is. We want to move forward. We don't just want to stay stagnant in the conversation or the presentation. What it really is there for is, remember, people are buying off of emotion. If they're in it for this long, they're taking their checkbook out. I don't care. If you're on the phone with them for an hour, they're taking it out for something. If they ain't paying a light bill, whatever it is.
I
Okay.
think sometimes people want to be told.
They do. They want to be
I want
told.
to be told, this is it, do this right now. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you start saying, with the price and everything there, that's where people get worried because they're like, oh, is this too expensive? Well, if you did everything else correctly, there's that immense value there. It doesn't matter.
Right, they know.
So when you say I'll go back to the New York one I did for a husband and a wife. They were both in their 80s and it's open enrollment. It's $350 each. The daughter was like, that's terrific. Because she knew all what it covered. There was no slosh to almost $800 a month in premium
Right.
for them to have coverage. But if I would have said, okay, now for your dad and your mom, we're doing Mutual Omaha Plan Gs, and they are $350 each. People are gonna go, holy crap!
Now what?
Yeah, $350 because they quit being attached emotionally, and now they want to run numbers. Now they want to write everything down. They want to see where they can move money or who might offer lower.
Right.
That stops being emotional, starts being analytical. That quick. That's what happens. So that is why the recommendation and takeaway is so strong and why it has to be done with even if you sold somebody 4 or 5 different things, you still do it that next call. Our anniversaries that we have to rewrite with, rate increases, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I might have just written them 2-3 years ago that were open enrollment. Now we have to rewrite them because they went up $100. I still do the same thing. We're asking, how's your health been the past 2-3 years? Since I talked to you. Anything changed? No? Okay, well, looking at it here, it looks like for October 1st, your best bet is going to be this Aetna Plan G. Now, I know we went through these 2-3 years ago, but I legally have to go through them with you again. And if we can qualify, this is what we're going to do. And usually by that point, those people go, okay, sounds good. Because they're bought in.
Right.
They're bought into they see value in you, in your recommendation. They know that you're the expert in this field. That really what you're recommending is the best thing to them. You're not just recommending,
Right.
Here's something to have something.
Right.
You're actually doing it to help. Like I was talking with one of my ladies. You want to hear something crazy? So in New Jersey, she had a Sendo. This is what somebody that was like 80, I think she was 80, 81. And I rewrote her last year with the Sendo. Okay. She's coming up on her first anniversary here, 9/1. Her rate went from 254 down to 219.
Oh, wow.
Wow. How did
Cool.
that happen?
That's
So
awesome.
I saw it in the portal. I sent it over to Chris and I was like, can you look at this to make sure I'm not crazy?
Yeah.
I was like, don't drug test me. But I want to get somebody else to look at this, make sure I'm not crazy.
Right.
And then I called Aetna And I was like, hey, is this right? And they go, yeah, we did like a whole premium drop for the state of New Jersey with Plan G's with Ascendo.
Mm.
I was like, oh, so everybody got like $40. I was like,
Mm.
yeah. I was like, okay, great. And so I called her and I was like, hey, yeah, it actually just dropped 40. She's like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then she wanted me
That's a
to
call to make.
help take a look at like her dental plan. But it was one, she's like, I had it for a few years. I'm really just looking for something for like cleanings and everything. Like I don't need a lot. And she goes, it's just went up on me. And I go, look, are you paying more than $60, $70 for it a month? She's like, no, it's not gotten that quite high. Then you're fine. You already know how it works. Your dentist already takes it. Why are you looking to change
Periods
it?
are already gone.
Exactly. You don't need to change it. But
Mhm.
that was something that came up that she asked me because she was like, hey, before you leave, I want to get your opinion on something. I said, okay, what is it? Because she knew from there I wasn't just going to go, oh, well, this is what you need. Drop
Yeah.
everything you have.
Right.
Do it. This is what
Yeah.
you need right now. No, because I was truthful. I didn't recommend it and take it away
Right.
or whatever it was. But if it would have come to that situation, if we had to do another dental plan, like say like Cigna, for example, if we looked at the Cigna plan, I would still do okay, it looks like here, you're paying $40 for $2,000 worth of coverage here. Looks like Cigna has $5,000 for $50 a month. Now, I don't know if that benefit where it gets waived will kick in yet. I have to make sure that you can qualify for that. And I know she'll qualify for it.
Mhm.
There's no health questions. There's no underwriting. But it's still that control to have it, have them want it, and then take it away.
Mhm.
Like the easiest,
Mm.
I don't want to say bait and switch, but the easiest trap ever is, hey, let me give you my Medicare card. No. I see people on the floor, they fall for that trap so hard. They do, from the very second, third minute, whatever it is. All it says is, which Medicare card? No, that's not even in there. If you notice, we're on page, I know it seems like page 80 by now, but, which leads us to our next one here. But when you fall for it, if you take out one of these steps, and if you don't do it correctly, or if you go ahead and skip above, like if you reveal price before you reveal company, or if you move something out of the way there, then you just take away all the power that you've gained through that entire conversation. So like if we look at the next one, qualifications. This is one that once you get back to asking health questions, nice Jacob, polite Jacob, turns into, this is serious. And I have my same spiel that I give over and over again. Okay, y'all have heard me do it before. These are just yes or no questions. Some of them are on a time basis, like a 5-year, 2-year, 1-year, lifetime.
Right.
If you have any questions, cut me off. My rule of thumb is if you haven't heard of it before, probably means you ain't got it.
Right.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So when we start the application, usually right away, it asks if it's going to be underwritten
I
or
don't
open
start the
enrollment.
application. Wait, what are you talking about?
So,
Starting application.
so if it's open enrollment, then the health questions don't even come up unless your system works a little bit differently than what we have.
Correct. Open enrollment, there are no health questions required by the company.
Right, but you're telling us to still go ahead and ask them.
Yeah.
So
Which
they
is in our
usually aren't
CRM.
there,
It's in
CRM.
CRM.
You use the
but on the application, those questions are different.
Because, so with the way that we work, we don't even go to the application until we're at the order book close.
So
I'm
you
not even in a
mean,
portal until.
so don't ask questions on application, ask questions that's in the CRM and on our script.
Correct.
Health Questions.
Correct, because
Okay.
then from there,
That is what confused me.
then you will
So
go
open enrollment.
into
Okay,
the actual enrollment of everything. like
Sorry.
that. No, it's okay. That's
Give me
your
a-
question, but that's
Okay.
the way the CRM is set up like that. If you go to insurancesales.com, you can take a quick look yourself. There's a little plug, but that's why in our system it goes from your contact information
Mhm,
over to current coverage and then over to birthday, zip code,
mhm,
when you want to enroll. From there, it goes into company. If you
mhm.
click the company, you click next, it goes into that company's health questions. immediately, so you have it there.
Oh, that's right.
So the only thing I had to remind Penny of
Okay.
it too. So the only thing really that if you were ever in a portal before you ask health questions
Mm-hmm.
would be to verify like a household discount. So like with Cigna, if you want to know what the living with someone discount is, I would go in the quote engine and I would, in the actual Cigna portal, because before we don't want to verify, especially if you're talking about discounts.
Right.
But what would I put in, Penny, to get that quote? What information?
The effective date, it has to be in there, and then,
No, I'm talking about if I go to Cigna's My Enroller for quick quote.
like date of birth, there's hardly anything.
Zip code.
Zip code
And where do we get that information?
from
The
page
very
one.
first
Yeah.
page one.
Right.
Because what I had to reiterate on Friday there, Christine, you missed out. You have to watch it. I go, the reason we get a birth date and a zip code in minute 1 is because I know everything I can sell you within the first minute. I don't need your Medicare number. I don't need your Medicaid number. I don't need your medications. I don't need any of that. All I need to know what is available to you is your zip code and your age. That's it. So when we're there, looking at Cigna, looking at the quote, we're going to confirm it. Okay. Then I would just go back to the CRM, say it went from 100 down to 90. And I say, okay, look, it's going to be $90. Now, I'm not sure if you qualify for the savings, but if you do, it's my recommendation. This is what we're going to do. So here's the first question. Get to asking the questions. With open enrollment, you can twist it a little bit too, where I'm saying, look, these are the qualifying questions. With open enrollment, you can actually answer yes to some of these. But we need to answer no to the majority that we can. So here's the first question. Because not only we're kind of cutting back from 16 going back to 15 here. The reason we ask health questions on open enrollment is not only for the recommendation and the takeaway, but also because it gives you an idea going forward for underwriting.
Okay, so here's my question then. We just told them, right, what company they're going to be with.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to go into the underwriting questions, and then I'm realizing, they've got heart issues. Maybe this company isn't going to be the best. Now I know. So then I'm going to go back to maybe United Healthcare doesn't care so much about heart issues. I mean, so asking the questions helps me to determine what company to go with.
Right.
Correct. Now, what you're kind of jumping, I don't want to say jumping the gun, but remember there is a lot of discovery done on like page 5, where we're talking about health conditions, where they say, yeah, I've had some heart stuff.
Right.
You can't put heart stuff on an application. Or like clopidogrel, heart stuff. You can't put that in there. You need to know why. So that's what I ask him. Well, what went on with your heart? Did you have a stroke? Did you have a heart attack? Whatever it is. So then you have your basis out of those 5 questions where, are you diabetic? How's your heart? Cancer, lungs, kidneys.
Right.
That's pretty much the group of 5 that you look at. Now you'll get thrown in randomly like a rheumatoid arthritis or melanoma or cirrhosis, something random kind of off wall like that. But really your diabetes, heart, lungs, kidney, cancer. That's the 5 that you look at. You know that going ahead of time. So it only comes with experience, but there's also certain ways that we've got little shortcuts in the CRM that actually have underwriting. So if you put in, if he has cancer, if you put in cancer in the top right, it'll tell you every company with their timeframes. Now, in this example that we're doing we're talking about an open enrollment application. So obviously it wouldn't apply to where they can answer yes, they're still going to get approved for coverage because they're in open enrollment.
Right.
What you are doing is, number 1, you're doing your recommendation and your takeaway for the next step so you can do the close. But number 2, you're also learning about their future and how healthy they are. So if you can go through and you have to say yes to 15 out of 17 questions, you ain't ever moving companies.
Yeah.
Unless something
That's
happens.
in the CRM, if you answer those, it'll tell you which companies are the best ones.
I'll show you all after
Yeah.
this. There's a little underwriting guideline
Okay.
that's on the main page that kind of helps you out. But for now, in this situation here, they can answer yes for open enrollment. We'll go over like an underwriting one later. But for this, it doesn't matter. They can do it. So we went to asking the health questions. Again, just be as stern. Just say, you can be happy. Ha, ha, ha. Okay. No. Here's question 1. Within the past year, have you been hospitalized or contained in a nursing facility? And of course, when you get to the dementia question, everybody's going to go, oh, I might have old timers. And I go, no, this is not joke time. Because I tell them too, for some of them that are underwritten, you're going to get a phone call. In that person's job, it's not to decline you per se, but that person's job is to see if you are too risky for this insurance company to accept. So we're treating this questionnaire how I want you to act with the underwriter if they call you. To where it's not, are you diabetes with neuropathy? Well, if I sit on the toilet for too long, my leg falls asleep. That's not neuropathy.
No.
That is not diagnosed with neuropathy. You do not have neuropathy. But guess what? That underwriter is going to hear that and go, they do have nerve issues. They admitted they have nerve issues,
Right.
declined.
Right.
So this is your kind of trial run.
I would tell people too, I'm going to coach you like I'm your attorney and you're getting ready to go on the stand. Just be very brief and just say yes or no. Don't elaborate. And I always had a little story that I would tell them about an 80-year-old man who went out. His family was going to go hiking. So he took it upon himself to go get a cane for this trip that he was going to go on with his friends. So when the underwriter asked, do you use a cane? He said, yes. But then he went on to tell the story. Well, too late. They declined him. So I said, don't elaborate. And if the doctor, and the question is, did a doctor recommend that you use a cane or not? Not just did you decide to go on your own. So, I always would tell people that to set them up to just say yes or no. Don't add anything to it. Not that we're trying to lie or anything, but they're looking for little reasons.
You don't need to add anything.
Right.
You don't need to add anything.
I am kind of in that predicament right now with Cigna because I have a client who it's not, gray areas here. It's not technically cirrhosis. It's a step below cirrhosis. But when we did the health questionnaire, they only asked about the specific condition of cirrhosis, not primary biliary.
Right.
It's like cholangitis or something like that too. And so her application came back declined. And I go, this is going to be fun. So I called and I go, I got the decline notice saying that she got declined for cirrhosis. Like, yes, it looks like it. And I go, well, we disclosed in the application she's not been diagnosed with cirrhosis. It's prior to cirrhosis. In the phone interview as well, too, she discloses she does not have cirrhosis. You can check the medical records, everything like that. And immediately they went, okay, let me look at this. And they go, well, you did apply for a standard 2. And I go, correct, where we can answer yes to some questions, mainly the diabetes questions. We can answer yes. And go, okay. And technically for stage 2, this wouldn't be declinable because she's not diagnosed with cirrhosis. And I go, okay, now we're getting it. And then now, probably me telling this story, I'm going to go back and check and it's going to be declined again. But it got that from a decline back to pending and up to a higher level of underwriting. All just because they think that it's not. And so when you ask the health questions too, that's such a big thing where people go, maybe just a little bit. Or the one that kills me is when they pause, when they're going through quick. It's like, do you have yes or no? No. And they go, that's the one that kills me. The little pause there.
Right.
Okay. So that's it for qualifications. Now, if you notice on that last sentence too, this is why you want to ask it. This is why you want to have the demeanor to it. This means you can be trusted and aren't just a salesman out to make a sale. By having that different tone to your voice, we talked about tone a lot last week as well. You say, okay, I have to ask you these questions. It's not. So in the past year, have you been confined to a hospital? No. It's, and you're laughing and giggling. Yeah, myasthenia gravis, that's a funny diagnosis. No, it's, do you have myasthenia gravis? Yes or no? There's no chit chat. There's no questions breaking up. It's, look, you and me have to get through this in order for you to get this. So again, I'm still holding your hand. We're still on that train ride together.
Right.
But both of us, you got to get through this first in order for us to get this. That's why it's so important. And The last one here. Christine, would you like me to, or actually I want you to read here. Read that first sentence under paragraph 17, order book close. Actually, the first two sentences there.
Okay, it says, great, it looks like you're gonna qualify. I'll need you to grab your Medicare card. Now your new bank draft premium will be,
Okay, so there's the trick. And with this here, this is where you get some of the inflection too, just like you're using during the health questions, where it's like, you go through the very last one, all right, and is your last blood pressure reading higher than 135/70? No, terrific. It looks like you're gonna qualify. I need you to go grab your Medicare card. Notice, we're at the end and just now getting Medicare card.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it kills me when people bring it up to begin, because if you already take that out, go grab your Medicare card. Great, it looks like you're gonna qualify. Okay, let me start the app here. Then that's when that emotional, because if you notice the next thing here, now your premium's gonna be X by presenting your card, whatever it is. You're breaking that emotional and going back to the analytical and the numbers there. Then it turns into a numbers game. So for the ability to just grab that Medicare card, they can do it anytime they want during the conversation. Should you allow them to give it to you? Not unless you absolutely need it for any reason that does not have to do with the close. Because guess what? If we're doing a life insurance policy, you don't need a Medicare card, right?
Right.
So I'm not going to have you go grab it. Do you know what I am going to go have you grab? Your driver's license. Because a lot of them, you need two forms of identification. Like Cigna, they need the driver's license number. So what's the easy thing I do? Great, it looks like you're going to qualify. I'll need you to go grab your driver's license. Let me get this pulled up. You just let me know when you have it. But it goes back to the control over the whole situation, where there's such an immense level of value that you have built up with them. It's automatic.
Mm-hmm.
There's no questions.
Right.
They just go. They go and get it. That means that they paid attention. They love the product, but they love you more. And they know at this point that you are their advisor, and they will do what you ask them to do. Where if you ask them, okay, I need you to go grab your Medicare card, they're going to go get their Medicare card.
Mm-hmm.
Because what comes after that is you're going to have to start asking for a lot of other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to ask for social. You're going to have to ask for checking. At this point here, when you say, I need you to go grab their Medicare card, and they come back, you are going to get all the information you ever wanted.
Mhm.
I mean, we don't need too much for certain applications, but if you've done all these steps prior to it, that trust is built. And kind of like it says in the qualification right before it, this means you can be trusted and aren't just a salesman out to make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
You look like you had a question.
I did. So I've heard a couple different ways. Do you want us to, say, go get your driver's license, they come back. Go get your Medicare card, and then they come back. Now go get your bank. You want us to have them running back and forth? Because we just want to tell them, okay, there's a couple things I'll need you to go get now. So you just make one trip, and then I'll just tell them to go grab everything. Or what is your recommendation for that? Because I've heard you guys want us to make them run around.
I split it up. I really do split it up. And I go based upon what an application needs. So let's take an Aetna for an example. You're in the quote and enroll on Aetna's portal, right? You have to put in first name, last name, date of birth, zip code, right? You have to put in their Part A date.
Right.
And then you have to select the plan and then click next. Well, okay. At this point here, after they go get their Medicare card, it's good to ask them, okay, can you read off the ID, parts A and B? This is what I do here. And it's very simple because it kind of matches up between what's in the application versus what's in the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that first page, it's a contact information or a Medicare page. So I'll say, okay, your Medicare card number is 1AA1, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your Part A? Okay. And your Part B. Okay. Do you have a middle initial on your card? You do? Okay. It's C. Perfect. Let me put this in here. And what is your Social Security? I don't even say Social Security. I just go, and what's your social?
Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
Right.
Because that's I don't know why the social's a tougher one to get out than the checking information, where people will give you their checking information, say, here you go.
Mhm.
And you ask for their social, and be like, I can't give that to you. And I'm like,
I know.
I've told people that too. I'm like, Artie, you just gave me your checking account. They go, well, I can cancel that. And I go, you just gave me your checking account.
Yeah.
What is this worry of? So if I ever, that's a little tangent off for another day. If I ever say, well, everything's encrypted or we delete it after we save it. No, you're their advisor. You're not going anywhere.
Mhm.
That's information you need to have handy.
Do I sound like I'm a fraud? You know, I mean, after we've gone through all this, does it sound like I'm, somebody that's not for real?
Right.
Because that's what they're all afraid of.
And that's,
You know.
and that just goes back to, having control of the conversation and leading it to that point. But when you say, when you go grab everything, sometimes I have seen it go the opposite way where it can seem a little
Oh.
daunting. To where people kind of do get that feeling when you go, okay, I need you to go grab your Medicare card. I
Yeah.
need you to go, especially
Everything
if you're doing
personal.
a life insurance, I need you to grab your Medicare, your driver's license, and your checking account, and
Yeah.
then let me know when you have it.
Yeah.
And you just sit there, and you're like, "Ooh, I'm about to get a sale," and then that's when people, that emotional, turns off and goes, "Wait, why are they asking for everything all at once?"
Okay.
You want to do it one at a time. So that's why, even if
Okay.
people have their checking information
That
to
makes
start
sense.
with, I go, I don't need that right now
Uh-huh.
because I'll go through the app. So first page of Aetna is Medicare card A and B. Are we replacing coverage? Yes. Health questions. Second page, prescription information, PCP. Okay. Third page is contact information, social. Fourth page, payment. I'm not going to bring up the checking until I get to the checking. Because for a lot of it, it's, again, this is going to sound very, I can't think of what the word, not selfish, or what's it where you think a lot about yourself?
Arrogant.
It's going to sound very arrogant, but I want them to follow my orders.
Mm-hmm.
That is what this whole control is. I want to be, this is going to sound, again, terrible, in control of your actions and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ask them though at the beginning if they have a checking so you don't have to go back and restart
Nope.
the application?
If I have to restart, that's fine. I can restart.
And doesn't most of the applications have the social on the first page, like right after their name? I'm asking for their social. Seems like.
So Aetna does, Mutual has it on the second page where you have to do, a lot of the social and Medicare card go hand in hand. But it's also different. Like Cigna, for MedSubs, they don't ask for Medicare number or social until the very last page before you submit.
Oh.
Whereas Aetna, it's on page 2. Mutual, it's on page 2. AARP, you don't even need a social, but you do need an AARP membership number.
Oh, right. You need to get them signed up.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I used
So
to have that saved. I'll have to go back and find out.
they switched it from like my AARP connection notes to something else too now.
Okay.
But to go back on the arrogance or maybe the hubris
Mhm.
about it, as a fancy word is, I want you to follow every order I say
Mhm.
because it is in your best interest to follow it. And that's not coming from a negative space.
Mhm.
That's not being rude. It's just saying, no, like I have demonstrated to you that you and me are going to work together on this for the rest of your life
Mhm.
until you pass away. Because I'm going to be here longer helping more people with Medicare than you're going to be on Medicare. You'll be passed away. I'll still be helping people with it. So you and me are doing this together. But there are certain times where I have to tell you, you need to go do this. You need to go do that. It's almost like your parents when you were, growing up. When they're telling you to do stuff, they're telling you for a reason because they've seen it before.
Right.
They know what trials and tribulations you're going to go through. What happens if you go off that bike ramp without a helmet.
Mhm.
They do all of that, but you listen to them growing up because you
War
think
helmets.
this person has more experience than I do. This person knows exactly what they're talking about, and they know it for sure.
Mhm.
So that's why I break it up.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now it's a whole lot easier to just say go grab everything
Okay, yeah.
and then come back. It's a whole lot easier on them. But from and this is why I've been doing this now, and we did this on Friday too. I'm trying to have you guys understand the psychological,
Yeah, because
Behind
there
it
is a
now.
lot of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Helps a
more
lot.
it's more emotional than it is transactional.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice here too, once you do that, and then your order book close, you go through everything, there's a multi-product there, but then that's when you have your cool downs. You go in a few more pages there too. That's when you start asking for referrals. That's why you start leaving your notes, everything like that. Because you're still on there, the phone with them. This is a very big task that a lot of people take for granted, especially like some of the ones that we underwrite for lower premiums and stuff like people that we've been underwriting for 10 years, might have had 3 different companies. They just expect it on their anniversary to get a phone call and say, all right, what's lower? All right, what's lower?
They're ready.
They're ready, but they don't know like the daunting tasks that you have to do behind the scenes.
Right.
That it's not just click on their name, their phone number pops up, click phone number, and something automatically tells you this is what's going to be the best thing.
Right.
It goes, no, because even those people, you still have to go through, you might not do an A and B presentation, but you still have to go through how's your health been
Exactly. I was gonna
in the
say,
past 3 years.
maybe
What
they can't
medications? Have they added medication? Have they taken medication away? Have you done physical therapy? Are you expecting anything else?
Right. Do you have a surgery coming up?
Exactly.
Or
And,
procedure.
and from there, go into, okay, well, let's take a look at Plan G. So yours is 150 now. Let's see here. All right, this is looking pretty good with your health conditions. What I'm going to recommend is we go to Medico at $100 a month for their Plan G. So it's saving about $50 a month. Now, I know you're healthy. You'll probably hear me say this all the time. I know you're super healthy and you're the exception to the rule,
Excuse me.
but I have to ask you these questions in order to qualify. Usually those people at the time, that's the 3rd or 4th time they've heard me say that. And then you just go, okay. It's like, all right, here's the first one. Are you contained to a hospital bed? Whatever it is, it doesn't, once you get it down in the group and you start to understand why we do things, why certain things are asked at certain points in the presentation, why certain things, this is, now you know why I hated marks to begin with.
Yeah,
Because
but-
at the time, I know it's a little different,
I know,
but
because I'm going to defend that.
but at the time, when we're
Advantage
talking about
different.
supplement-wise.
Yeah, supplement-wise, yeah,
I
I don't think I ever looked.
But what happens is once you start getting that habit down of immediately going into Medicare, and I need your Medicare number, even if I'm doing an underwritten policy, I'll find it after the fact. But first, I got to get you qualified.
Yeah, like there's no reason when you're doing a supplement to look them up in marks because there's nothing there that we need what I need is to know if you're healthy and to know what your budget is and things like a whole different, conversation.
And to build the value in why
But
they want to work with you.
and so many people now, they're just like, I don't even know what I have. And I don't know. I think I'm on Medicare, maybe Medicaid, maybe, I don't know. So, it's like, okay, let me help you. Let's, not speed it up, but
Right.
but let me help you to figure out if I can help you. Otherwise, I can't help you. But with these, if I could, this is about more of a trust thing because these people are, that we talk to with Medicare and Medicaid, they're just going from one rep to the next. I mean, I heard, Laura say, you changed 5 times this year. Stop it. She told the lady or man or whoever.
I don't know how. She changed 5 times in the last 5 months.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wondered. I
How
saw
can that be?
somebody a few weeks ago, the same kind of thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how on
Yeah, they don't
earth?
know what they're on. half
And they
the
don't
time.
know what they're on. And so it's understandable that they're confused. But these guys, it's a whole different demographic with Medicare. So, I don't ask them for anything until I build their trust and they know that I know what I'm talking about till I build their trust. Anyway, but yeah,
It's funny.
but
This is the same closing scenario for Medicare Advantage too.
Mhm.
The only difference is you just take out the health questions and you replace it with, now this is where the marks things comes into play after, or if you have to check Medicaid status, whatever it is, say, okay, this is what I'm gonna recommend you for 9/1. This United Healthcare Advantage plan is going to be your best bet. But I don't know if you qualify. So in order to see if you qualify, I need to check the Medicare system here. So if you have your Medicare number, go ahead and grab that. Let me know when you have it.
Okay.
And then from there, you should have, everything you need. And then as you're going through the application too, you don't need Medicare ID to start an application at Sunfire. All you need is zip code. Again, go back to age and zip code. Where this one, you don't even need age. They
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
All they need is a zip code.
Yeah.
But that first page, all contact information. Second page, Medicare card.
Right.
Which by that point, you should have all the addresses and everything like that. Which should lead you to the next point is Medicare card for what you need. But you can definitely do that takeaway with the
With
the qualify thing as well, because that's the qualify and the recommendation and the takeaway is the most powerful thing we do in this script. Because every agent out there takes the bait. They do. They do. They want to give all their information up early. And they say, I want this plan. This is going to be the best one, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Everybody wants to take the easy way out. They do. They want to do the most sales with the least amount of work. That's just life. Okay. But if you want to do I don't say best amount of sales, but if you want to do your amount of sales that are going to be yours, that those clients are not going to go anywhere, you need to be doing the recommendation and the takeaway. Because again, going back to the psychological aspect of it, you are in charge. They are not. Whereas with some of these other ones, they might be in charge because they're switching every 3 months. I'm talking about Advantage plans here. They're saying, no, I am your person for the rest of your time doing this. Nobody else. Do not talk to anybody else. I had an attitude when he got here today because I talked to him quite a bit. And he has like an Advantage plan from somebody else, but he's been working with us a little bit. He's like, yeah. So I was talking to this rep from Humana, and I go, stop answering your damn phone. We have this conversation every 2 months. He's like, I'll just call him Jerry. I'm like, Jerry, we talk every 2 months. You can't get more benefits right now. Stop talking to anybody. He goes, well, what's the difference between this Humana thing and my Aetna? I go, we had this I literally have notes every 2 months.
Wow.
Of he calls in because he's like, well, I was talking to somebody else and they said I can get more benefits. And I go, you can't. You just can't. Okay? And he's the one he worries me because he's actually not on our books. He's on somebody else's books. And I can see why now. It's because he talks to them. But for sure, even with the rapport that I have with this guy, because he used to play hockey and we love talking hockey. Okay? We love each other. We do. I'm going through all of this because I know he picks his phone up. And it's not a matter of, well, if I tell him not to, he's not going to do it. That's not the case here. The case is when I talk to him, I'm going to pull this out and we're going to go down the Medicare Advantage path and I'm going to follow this to a T. So that way, if somebody ever does call him, I don't have to worry. Because all of the control, he knows his best interest is to call me first and ask me. Like he goes back to the people that I absolutely love are the people that call you before they go to the emergency room. Super scary, and you kind of yell at them a little bit, but they call you and, hey, I think I'm having a heart attack. Can I go to the emergency room? I was like, first off, I'm not your parents, I'm not going to give you permission.
Your doctor.
But people get worried.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've done a great job.
Yeah.
When
They
either
trust you,
somebody
for sure.
somebody trusts you before an emergency or they trust you with their friends.
Yeah.
Their friends, their family, which we can go over that. We'll go over that another day too. So let's open up the floor for questions here. Anything else that we're kind of a little bit confused on why we do things a certain way, why things are put in at a certain place?
Not really, other than I have always been confused as to why we ask underwriting questions for open enrollment, but it makes sense now. Now that really, because I think that is a lot of it. There's a lot of psychological aspects to this script. And I mean, we've always, worked where we're building rapport and making a friend.
Mhm.
But there was a lot of this that was just a little hard to understand, and this has really helped a lot.
Yeah.
Because it
Why we do
switches and
Yeah,
exactly why I wanted to just break everything down here.
yeah.
The real reason is because when you're in your rapport, there comes time for Kim,
Mhm.
then there comes time for Kimberly Zimmerman. This is my national producer number.
Right.
This close is the Kimberly Zimmerman here.
Mhm.
That my name is going on this application. So this is not happy go, ha ha,
The
have
rest
no
of
fun
it was
time.
Kimmy.
It's like yeah, that's Kimmy Joe.
Kimmy Joe.
This is not Kimmy Joe. So if you try to do Kimmy Joe things when you're not supposed to do
I'm supposed to be
Kimmy Joe
Kimberly.
things, yes, when you're supposed to be Kimberly, not Kimmy Joe, then that's where sometimes you might
Yeah.
run into some issues because there is. I
Right.
mean, you do have to be. I hate to say, you have to be stern with these people,
Yeah,
and almost sometimes treat them like a kid, like we were talking about earlier. To
Yeah.
where it's like, look, no, this is your best thing that you can do. This is your only option.
right.
This is what we are going to do together.
Yeah, and this is what we're gonna do.
Exactly. That's the Kimberly.
Yeah,
Kimmy Joe is page 1 through 20.
yeah.
When it comes time down to it, this is where Kimberly comes out.
Like Penny and Penelope.
Penelope.
Exactly.
Correct.
Right.
Everybody,
Any questions?
Christine, I don't even know what
I
you
was
would
like,
be.
I don't have, I just have Christine. I don't.
Would you be Chris? Does anyone call you Chris? That's kind of weird. Okay.
I
Do
don't
y'all
know.
have any follow-up questions? Anything
I
about
don't think so. I don't think so.
logic, why we do things, why something says something?
Yeah,
Why
probably
things are the way they are?
Later. Oh yeah, I
Okay.
could go watch Friday's episode.
Why are things the way they are?
All
Never
right,
mind.
On tomorrow's episode of Dojo.
I have other questions, but they don't pertain to this.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been fun. I think we might do something kind of like this with like referrals and a little bit other stuff too.
Yeah,
Keep the
I like
papers-
this.
Keep the papers on you.
Yeah.
But that is it for the dojo here today. Sorry we went actually 2 minutes over. Got pretty close to it. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you to Christine. Thank you to Penny. Thank you to Kimmy Joe over here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Hope this taught you something and go sell something.
Come over here and sell something.
Yeah.